Hi everyone, Kevin Melchor here with Jose Solorzano.
Okay.
He is an insurance agent and broker with Bright Star Insurance Services. Hi Jose.
Hi. Hi, Melchor Jets.
And he's going to talk with us about travel insurance, travel protection, why you need it. Jose, talk to us, tell us let's get to know you.
Okay, so I'm a licensed agent / broker. Basically, I help people with their insurance questions, insurance needs as well. Each person is different, so it's the insurance isn't like one fits all. Every case is different, so that's why it's important for everybody to go ahead and seek the advice of a licensed insurance agent or broker, because that way they're aware of what the different programs that are out there or plans, for lack of words here, and they could possibly go ahead and tell you what would be not the best, but the most suitable product for your current situation. And that also influences into travel. So, like, for example, travel insurance. It's important to have travel insurance because in case you do miss a flight, you have that assurance that the insurance company is going to go ahead and pay for that missed flight. Or if you have experienced a medical emergency while on board or off board, depending on the situation and the type of insurance that you buy, you have protection for that way you're not left with a big burden financially for any mishappenings, that whatever is happening. Not too long ago, I had somebody call me and tell me that they had basically gone to Costa Rica. They went out, whatever, had a wonderful time. They bought the insurance, thank God that they did. Their loved ones had an issue with, I think, some form of if I'm not mistaken, pneumonia or something down there, and so things got complicated. So the person got rushed to the hospital, everything, and since they had bought that was covered, which was peace of mind for them, because if not, then that would have implemented a whole bunch of unexpected expenses that they would have encountered. For people under 65, you do have to buy travel insurance in case you are traveling. People that are 65 and over, depending on what carrier it is, what program or what plan they choose, some plans or programs actually already have embedded travel protection within it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or contact your local licensed agent, or if you want to help, if you want me to help you, then you could go ahead and ask for my information on the comments below.
Those who have a pre-existing condition, what do you advise on that with travel protection or travel insurance?
Okay, so first and foremost, you have to find out and really read the terms and conditions of the travel protection. Some actual travel protection / insurance, what they do is that they won't cover it at all, but some will. Depending on what the carrier
Depending
is,
on the
provisions and that type of thing. To be honest with you, it's probably the best thing to go ahead and buy it. I used to before travel without travel protection before getting into the insurance world. Now, anything and everything, I always buy insurance. Even Kevin knows about this because he actually was able to buy one of my family members' flights from overseas over here, so that way they could go ahead and come for us for the holidays. But the number one thing that we did is that we bought the travel protection, because you don't know, especially in this crazy season. There's a chance that you might miss a connection. There's a slight chance that the airline could possibly lose your bag. There's also a possibility that maybe you might encounter some form of health issue while on the flight. So you want to make sure that that's taken care of. And there's other variables that go on that, but you want to go ahead and play it safe
Right.
by purchasing that.
So for those who don't know, Dream Vacations has what we call, if you go to melchorjets.com, we have a carrier called Aon or Leisure Care through Aon. And I know there's various travel insurance companies, carriers as they call them, like AIG, Allianz, and I know you know some.
GeoBlue.
But what's really interesting about travel protection is, most people don't know this, is that it doesn't cover just the reason why there's been that questions about, oh, my credit card's going to protect you, and Jose, you always hear like travel insurance through your credit cards. Is that suggested or is that not suggested?
I don't suggest it because they only cover a very limited amount. So like anywhere between, let's say, $10,000 to $50,000. And as what we all know, if you go in a foreign country, $50,000 doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing, right?
Especially if you have a life-threatening emergency, and then you rack up all these bills. So you don't want to take that lightly, because imagine if you were to go without protection, and let's say you have a $50,000 savings account. That thing is going to dry up really quick, because they're going to, especially let's say you have a accident near a volcano where you're required to get an airlift.
Right.
So the question is, how much is an airlift out there? How much is it going to cost you to get admitted to the hospital?
Could be 50,000, 70,000.
And if what happens if the facilities aren't equipped to stabilize you?
Right.
And they're not to Western medicine standards. Then that means that they don't have the facilities nor the equipment to go ahead and help you. So the next thing is that they're going to go ahead and hire an airlift, so that way they could either bring you to our neighboring states, neighboring countries, pardon me, or bring you back to the States. By when that happens, then your insurance company will kick in your whatever you have here in the U.S.
Right.
But just letting you know that does happen, and most people don't even understand that. Most people call the insurance company and say, "Hey, I'm going to travel. Can you protect me outside the U.S.?" And the answer is a big fat no.
No.
and so the only way around it is by getting travel protection.
What is it with the cruise lines? They have their own travel protection. Do you suggest it? I normally say no, because it only covers what the cruise line covers, and sometimes if you do trip cancellations, what happens with if you cancel the trip, the money that you spent sometimes will be turned as cruise credit for your next cruise, or you get 50 to 75% of the money refunded back to you, and the rest goes to the cruise line or as a future cruise credit. I know if you really want your money back, your cash back to your credit cards or cash in general, I would say get travel insurance, travel protection, such as GeoBlue or AIG.
Whatever your sweetheart desires.
Exactly.
That's whatever your choice
And
is.
the main thing is that it covers not just the cruise, but your whole entire trip. So let's say your trip is $5,000, including ground transfers and air. You want to put your suite number, let's say, example, $5,000. That's what it's going to cover, your whole entire trip.
Exactly.
I know you brought in a lot of suggestions and tips. What is the one question that I want to ask is why do people hesitate not getting travel insurance or travel protection?
I'll give you the number one answer. People that are reactive usually have the answer. It's the insurance company trying to milk me for more money,
Right.
and blah 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 blah. Okay, So here's the thing. I'll give you a real quick scenario. Let's say you're in a cruise, right? And you get sick, and you bought a policy with a carrier, let's say for $1 million, hypothetically, right? Let's say you get a heart attack, hypothetically, and you're in bad shape while on the ship. So what's gonna happen? The ship's gonna call the Coast Guard or whoever it is to come and pick you up. So as we already know, that isn't free. The pilot doesn't fly for free. The jet fuel is not for free, and none of the other services are for free. So basically, if you buy the protection, what you could do is that you could possibly have the peace of mind that in case you do have a mishap while on board on a ship, let's say a heart attack, the Coast Guard could come and pick you up and could actually potentially bring you to a facility that's equipped in order to stabilize you from your heart attack, hypothetically, of course. And of course, that'll. I always suggest to buy at least $1 million worth of insurance, because just one trip just to on an airlift is about $50,000 just from one end to not even 5 miles. And it's $50,000. It's really expensive. Yeah. So imagine somebody who drives a Mercedes, the insurance could pay the freaking Mercedes in one shot. And how many years did it take you to make the payments? That is if you're not a baller status. But if you're baller status, you could pay that in one shot. But either way, that's outside the point. But it's still a lot of money. The thing is that it's still a lot of money, and people have to understand that these programs exist because they want to go ahead and bring you peace of mind when you do travel.
Most people feel the reason why people don't get travel protection is cost. They say like $100, $200, $300 is too much. It's why would I add $300 into my additional?
I'll answer that right now. Okay, so how much does it cost to go to the doctor? At least here in America, depending on where we're at. Here in California is about 2 Benjis, 2 Benjamin Franklins, to say the least. Mm-hmm. So imagine. So basically, for the cost of a doctor's appointment, hypothetically, you're gonna have $1 million protection. That means that you have, let's say, give or take, $200 to make use of a $1 million policy.
Yes.
That's huge.
That is huge.
That's huge. So imagine if you rack up a bill that's $500,000.
Yes.
No problem. You got it.
Let's say you do a group booking for like 300 of your closest friends or association. At least you could sleep. At least you can have as the travel advisor or as the client who's the group lead, you could sleep soundly knowing that they're all protected. Imagine you have a 300-person cruise and 150 of them get sick and they're not covered. It's like, that's the worst.
And the worst part is that most people say, well, Jose, Kevin, you guys probably say all this stuff because you probably money grows on trees, or you love giving your money away to the insurance companies. It's not so much about giving your money to the insurance companies.
It's just
it's just being responsible and being also at the same time thoughtful and sensitive about yourself. Because if you don't look out after your own interest, who's going to look out after your interest? Nobody will.
Nobody will.
So we as advisors, the best thing that we could always say is always take a proactive approach, not a reactive. Mm-hmm. Reactive is too late. You can't do anything.
The cost breakdown is always including travel insurance, travel protection. Obviously, you always hear, travel and protection is not required. It's an optional. I'd say it's required because it should be already in your cost. So let's say, again, going back, your cost for, let's say, a cruise, more or less, is about $2,000. At least $100 off that would be travel protection. Imagine you just spent $100 and you have a $1 million policy. Can you believe that? That tells you, I'm just using that as an example because you could sleep soundly knowing that if something does go wrong for yourself and your whole family, you're not just being protected for yourself, but everyone in your trip and everyone in your family.
For all those fancy people, I know we have plenty of those.
Yes.
Everybody says, "Oh, I got PPO. Screw that. I could go ahead and do it." I got news for you. There's no insurance covered outside the U.S., so you need absolutely travel insurance. If you call the insurance company, they're gonna say, "Well, hope you have a good flight and enjoy your vacation," but you are not covered. There's no insurance company under 65. Again. Under 65 that actually covers you outside the U.S.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
If you're over 65, check with your licensed agent, please, or check with your benefit summary of benefits on your Medicare plan to go ahead and find out whether you have it or not. There's certain companies that give you up to $50,000 coverage worldwide. You don't want to grab a company that only offers you $50,000 worldwide. Because, again, going back to what we were saying moments earlier, $50,000 doesn't mean nothing and when you're traveling. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
And then what you want to do is that you want to go ahead and grab a company that offers you worldwide coverage unlimited.
About the provisions and your travel advisor is not your insurance agent or your insurance advisor. What I was going to say is that let's say the travel advisor, like myself, issues you or sells you a travel insurance, or it's already included in there, and your travel advisor does not know the provisions or can't help answer that. There is a number that you can call to your carrier, and your carrier can help answer those questions, or your travel advisor can contact the carrier, and you guys can go in a three-way, or you can talk to your licensed agent who's in insurance as well as in finance. That could tell you so much about the policy that you bought. Jose, your response is I couldn't say anything better than what you're saying as far as why people need travel protection, and you basically ironed out most of all the concerns and critical questions that needed to be asked.
It sounds like I failed.
No, you passed.
It sounds like
you passed. Jose, thank you so much. Jose, where can we find you, and where can people find you, talk to you, contact you?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and post some links on this video. Just one of the links for the travel insurance. It has my office number, and it has my office address in case you guys want to visit.
Perfect. And he is a trusted insurance advisor. Licensed advisor, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
The big L word. Yes, yeah. The big L word.
License.
That's huge, because the one thing is that if your travel advisor is also a licensed agent, that puts a cherry on top too. But if that agent, like myself, is not a licensed agent with insurance and health, we could always direct you to the right person involved, especially here at Melchor Jets Dream Vacations, because the professionalism and integrity never gets compromised, and we want to make sure you, as the traveler, is not just informed, but safe and healthy.
And then create wonderful memories.
That's right.
Which is why you're going on these wonderful, magnificent trips.
And having a stress-free vacation.
There you go.
So thank you, Jose Solorzano from Bright Star Insurance. And is that right, Bright Star, or is there any other brokers?
No, Bright Star Insurance Services is incorporated. Yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Or Jose Solorzano, I don't
know. whatever you want to call it, it's fine.
As Jose said, he will post links and his phone number information for if you ever want to get a hold of him. Of course, you could always contact me. And like I said, there's a lot of carriers, a lot of information. And with that, thank you so much, Jose, again.
Yes.
And happy travels, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.